Hello my loves, happy 2024. Welcome back to a new video. I hope that everyone was able to start the year off right, and in honor of the new year starting, I thought that I would talk about 24 things that can really help you reinvent yourself in 2024, help you transform and level up your life. And these are going to be things that are not your typical New Year's resolutions. I just wanted to kind of provide a fresh perspective on things that you can start doing that might not come to your mind instantly when you think about New Year's resolutions, and you can implement these things whenever you want. If you're watching this video at the end of 2024, it's still a great time to start implementing these things, or if you're watching it in 2 years, honestly. So first and foremost is working on unconditional self-love. It's easy to love yourself in situations when you're achieving things in life, when you're reaching your goals, when you're taking good care of yourself, but it's also so important to be there for yourself and love yourself in the moments when things aren't going so right for you, because that's when you need yourself and your self-love the most. The second thing is to work on the relationship that you have with yourself, and in general to start getting to know yourself. It honestly is crazy when you think about the fact that you probably know other people better in your life than you know yourself if you haven't started working on this yet, because at the end of the day you are the most important person in your life. You are going to spend the rest of your life with yourself. That's literally guaranteed. So that's why I highly advise to get to know yourself better, to get to know your self-sabotaging behaviors, to get to know your energy drainers, energy givers, things that you like, things that you don't like, and how you can also just support yourself in a day-to-day life. Spending more time in silence. I've already talked about this in one of my summer vlogs, but I wanted to just mention it again because I think that is one of the most beneficial things we can do in our day and age with the constant distraction that we have. It obviously is so important to, first of all, process your emotions instead of suppressing them, but it can also just benefit you to improve your concentration, to become more in tune with yourself, to let your creativity flow. I always notice that my craziest, most creative ideas come to me when I'm sitting in silence and I'm not letting myself get distracted. And especially when you think about all the input that we have to process on a day-to-day basis because of all the distractions and background noise we often hear. Even right now, as you're watching this video, the chances of you being on your phone or doing something else in the meantime are very high. And just think about all the times in your life that you're doing something whilst listening to something else in the background, whether that's a podcast, whether you're calling with someone, whether you're listening to music, whether you're watching the TV in the background, watching series, watching YouTube videos. So when do you actually have time to just let your thoughts flow without any distraction? Connecting to your intuition. Your intuition is probably the greatest gift you can have, in my opinion. And the more you listen to your intuition and the more you connect to your intuition, the stronger it will also become. Your intuition is one of those things that can just guide you through life, make your life so much easier, take a lot of stress away in your life, and also just help you make choices of what's right for you and what isn't right for you. Start your journaling practice. This is something I've also mentioned a billion times on my channel, but I'm going to say it again because if you still don't have a journal yet, buy one. You literally don't need anything fancy. My journal was like €5. It's a really simple notebook, but journaling is one of those things where once you start it, you just wonder why you haven't started before, because it literally can assist you in so many different areas in your life, whether that's for self-discovery, whether it's for dealing with anxiety, overthinking, for gratitude, for self-love, keeping memories, mental clarity, doing shadow work, healing your inner child. Whatever you want to use your journal for, feel free to do so. And there are so many different journaling techniques you can find online nowadays. So that is just something, if you haven't done it yet, please just buy a journal because it really can have a huge impact on your life. Developing emotional intelligence. You probably already have that to a certain extent, but I think that's just something that you can really continuously work on. Having good emotional intelligence will help you with self-awareness, with empathy, social skills, decision making, emotional regulation, and in general I think it can really help level up the relationships that you have in life with yourself and with others, and not be so impulsive all the time. Moving on to some lifestyle choices, the first thing I wanted to talk about is cycle syncing, and that is something that I mean I've always known about it, but this year I really started getting into it, and now that I know this information, I'm genuinely so frustrated that this isn't taught in schools. I think that every woman really needs to know this, and I also think that it's important for men to know this because it can really help understand why women are so different than men. If you don't know what cycle syncing is, to summarize it really short, every woman has 4 phases in her cycle, and in each cycle you have different needs. And when you start living your life in accordance to your cycle, you kind of just increase the effectiveness of everything that you're doing. So for example, your workouts can be aligned to your cycle. You also need different nutrition in different phases of your cycle, but even other things such as your intuition is stronger in certain parts of your cycle. You have more energy in other parts of your cycle. And when you know that and you really start applying that in your life, I believe that you can really do it all without feeling burnt out. Because you know, okay, in this phase I can do this, in this phase I can do that. Cycle syncing also really helps to improve hormonal balance, to reduce PMS symptoms, to increase your well-being. With cycle syncing, I really recommend to slowly start implementing. Maybe start off with focusing on the nutrition, or start off with focusing on cycle syncing your workouts, because if you try to do it all at once, it's only going to add more stress to your life and not really help you. Setting up routines and schedules that assist you. And I'm not just talking about your morning and night routine. Everyone talks about those. I'm not going to today. I mean, those are great as well, don't get me wrong, and I think that those can definitely be beneficial, but I'm talking about things that go beyond that. For example, I know of myself that if I don't have enough time by myself, I'm not the best version of myself. I feel super overwhelmed. I can't show up for the people in my life as much as I want to, and therefore I've decided this year, or last year, I keep thinking that it's 2023 still. I've decided to make Sundays my self-care days on which I don't hang out with anyone, and that has helped me so much. And on Sundays I also always clean my room and just tidy up my space, and that also gives me a reset for the week ahead. And that took away so much stress in my life, because I never have to think like, oh my god, when will I finally have time for myself, or when will I finally have time to clean my room, because I just know, okay, Sundays are those days. I block it out of my calendar. I don't make plans. Obviously, sometimes life happens and you do have to go out on a Sunday, but in general, I think that in the long run, that's just really, really going to help you. And with this, you really just have to start looking at your life, the problems you face, and then implement the solutions for that. So if cleaning is a problem for you, you know, just figure out a routine that works for you, whether that's 10-minute cleanups in the evenings, whether you're more of a morning person, you prefer to clean in the morning, whether you want to have a dedicated day for cleaning, having a dedicated day for washing your hair, having a dedicated day for achieving certain goals. For example, if you have a goal like you set for this year, make a routine for that, or a schedule. Just say like, okay, on every Thursday evening I'm going to work on it for 2 hours, or every day I'm going to work on it for 1 hour. Whatever is realistic for you and will assist you, really recommend doing that. Working on natural ways to boost your energy levels. I think that so many people are reliant on caffeine when it comes to energy, and honestly, that's not a sustainable way of living, and those aren't your real energy levels then. So I really, really recommend this year to focus on getting your energy from natural sources. Having energy is such an asset in your life. Like, just think about how much you achieve on those days when you actually feel like you have energy, when you slept well, when you're full of energy, when you're excited. You literally get so much more done. You show up as the best version of yourself. And also think about those days when your energy levels are really low and when you're not taking good care of yourself and you just feel groggy and you feel lazy and unmotivated. So I really recommend you to focus on sustainable ways to get your energy and not on short-term fixes such as energy drinks, coffee, and so on. Spending more time in nature. We all know that feeling when we went outside on a walk or just spend like a longer period of time in nature and we feel so amazing and we wonder why we don't do that more often. This is the year to do that more often, because it really is just so beneficial. It's so good for your mood, for your mental health, for your emotional well-being, and also just for vitamin D. In the winter time, we definitely don't get enough of that, and I think that in winter we also just tend to cozy up at home and just kind of forget about the importance of going out in nature. And if you live in the city, I also really recommend to start going to places such as the beach, the forest, maybe going on a walk in the park, and not just walk around in your city like on the street when you're surrounded by buildings, because the air quality is definitely different in the city opposed to in the forest, for example. Focus more on having fun. You guys, we don't have enough fun in our lives, and I really think that the older you get, the less you prioritize fun. I think that having the intention of just prioritizing fun in life is so beneficial, because life just is a lot more enjoyable when everything is fun. So I really think that we should start implementing more things in our life that are fun, and also just to make our day-to-day activities more fun. Be a bit more playful. Don't take everything so serious. Start a hobby for you. Don't start a hobby that's going to generate an income for you, or a hobby where other people have high expectations of you. I really recommend you to just start a hobby that you solely do for your own joy, for your own happiness, something that adds to your life and that you just look forward to. A hobby with no expectations, literally just for your own happiness. Investing in high quality clothes that make you feel like the best version of yourself. We all have that one sweater or that one pair of jeans that just makes us feel so good. And I really recommend to just start investing more in those pieces, and therefore focusing more on quality over quantity, because the way you dress has such a big impact on the way you act, on the way people perceive you. You look good, you feel good, you do good. Invest in high quality clothes, and also invest in clothes that are really true to your personal style, and not just follow all the latest trends. It's really easy these days to be so influenced by social media and by the latest trends, but we all know in which clothes we feel our best in. And I also really recommend to start dressing like you would envision your highest self to start dressing, if that makes sense. Finding a form of movement that you enjoy. These days, I feel like everyone, especially on social media, only talks about going to the gym, doing Pilates. What else is there? I think those are honestly the most common forms of workouts you see online. And if that's your thing, that's great, obviously. But I think that it's so important to find that form of movement that you truly enjoy, because you're going to be so much more likely to be consistent with it. It's going to make you so much happier, because at the end of the day, exercise really should be out of a place of love for yourself and should be enjoyable and shouldn't feel like you're punishing yourself or anything like that. Try out different workouts, see what you like, and stick to those exercises that really make you happy, because then they won't feel like a chore anymore, but will actually feel like something that you enjoy and look forward to, and you'll be so much more motivated and consistent with it. Invest in your home and your environment. With this, I mean investing in the furniture, the bedding, the color of the walls, basically the interior design. But I also mean to invest time and energy into your space by keeping it clean, decluttering, organizing on a regular basis, because your environment really has a bigger impact on you than you think it would. So it's so important to be surrounded by a space that makes you feel good, that makes you feel calm, that makes you feel motivated. A cluttered home literally increases your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone. And I also think that if you have a lot of clutter in your home and you just don't have a really clean space, you are not going to be able to actually work on the things that you want to work on, because that's just going to stand in the way. Work on having a healthy relationship with social media. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. It can be the best thing and it can be the worst thing at the same time. And I think that the difference really lies in using social media as a tool for inspiration, motivation, increasing your knowledge, or to use social media as a tool to numb your feelings, to compare yourself to others, and also be aware of whether you're intentionally scrolling or whether you're just doom scrolling. And I think at the end of the day, it's just always a good idea to reduce your screen time. I noticed that like in all those moments when I was at my happiest in my life, those were also the moments in which my screen time was the lowest, like most of the time. Be hyper aware of your thought patterns and train your mind. Your mind is a muscle at the end of the day that can be trained. And I think that a lot of us subconsciously might have really negative thought patterns, might always have really anxious thoughts. Recognizing that, that's like the first step, and then you can start slowly replacing those things by things that you actually want to be thinking about, things that actually help you in life and don't stress you out even more, because your subconscious mind also has a huge impact on everything that happens to you in your life. Having faith and asking for guidance. This is something I'm really excited to talk about, because I think that a lot of the times when it comes to faith, people are kind of scared away because of religion, and I think that there's a difference, and this is really just my personal opinion, so really feel free to disagree. I think that faith really can be for everyone, and I think that faith can look so different for everyone. I don't like the idea of putting it into a certain box. I think that everyone is obviously free to believe whatever they want, but I think it can be really beneficial to just believe in a higher power that can assist you in life, and that has helped me so many times, and to also just ask for guidance. And that higher power to you can be God, it can be your guardian angels, it can be the universe, it can be literally your highest self. Whatever you want to name it, or whatever you believe to be true, I think that having faith can really give you so much more peace in your life, knowing that not everything is in your control, and to just have faith that things are happening for you and not to you, and also really asking for guidance in moments. Prayer in whatever way you want to do it, and just being grateful and saying thanks, but also asking for guidance in certain areas can really help transform your life. And going out of your comfort zone. This is something I am definitely going to be working on this year, because I noticed that that's something that I've kind of stopped doing, even though I used to love doing it. The reason why this is so important is because our brains are naturally wired to stay in our comfort zone. So that's why it is so hard to get out of your comfort zone, and that's why in the beginning it always feels like such a bad idea, because we're literally wired that way. It can also really help to just boost your confidence levels, your self-love, and just also to gain life experience. Just think of like a memory when you went out of your comfort zone, and at first it was so scary to you and it seemed impossible, and then you mastered it and you felt so good about yourself. And now when you have to think about something new that is going to be out of your comfort zone, why shouldn't you master that as well? And you're going to feel so much more confident doing it, because you know, okay, last time I did it, why shouldn't I be able to do it this time? Being very picky with who you choose to surround yourself with. We all heard the saying that you are the equivalent of the 5 closest people in your life, but it is really true. People have a bigger impact on your life than you think they do, so it's really important to just make sure that these people actually have a positive impact on your life. I recently made a video about genuine friendships and signs of toxic friendships, so if you want to watch that, I'll link it down below in the comments. So I'm not going to go much deeper into it, but you really deserve to just be surrounded by people that want the best for you and that help you level up in your life and that don't hold you back. Focus on getting real dopamine. Dopamine is often referred to as our happy hormone, and there's a huge difference between instant gratification such as drugs, alcohol, sugar, mindless shopping, and real dopamine, which you can get from sunlight, the sauna, walks, connection, love, ice baths, exercise, sleep, new experiences. Like, there's so many different things you can get real dopamine from, and I really encourage you to start focusing on getting your dopamine from those sources. We have like this constant urge to get a quick boost of dopamine, and social media has made it so easy for us to get that. Like, you can literally scroll from one video to the next and get all these quick dopamine boosts. So focusing on getting real dopamine can really help you to fight that urge, if that makes sense. Fix your gut health. Your gut microbiome can literally affect every organ in your body, and your gut is literally called your second brain. So it's so important to have good gut health, because it is connected to so many other things. Everyone is already talking about it, but I think that in the future people will talk about it even more, just because of how important it is. So focusing on fixing your gut health and maintaining a healthy gut can really help you level up your life in so many areas. Make healthy eating a lifestyle and a habit, not a short-term diet. This is, I think, really the reason why so many people are not able to stick to eating healthy. It is a very common New Year's resolution, but I really want you guys to focus on making it a sustainable thing, something that is going to be a part of your identity, because that way you actually be so much more likely to stick with it for the rest of your life. Healthy eating is a huge part of my lifestyle that I started years ago, so I'm also going to be making a video about how you can get to that point where it really is just like a non-negotiable, something you don't have to think about twice. But honestly, please focus on your nutrition. Your body's a temple. Be mindful of what you put into it, because that's something you're just always going to be grateful for and that you will never regret doing. And then the last thing is to regulate your nervous system. Not having a regulated nervous system can negatively impact your well-being. It can cause headaches, it can cause chronic pain. So many things are connected to it, and this is just like gut health, I guess you could say, just one of those things that can really help level up so many different areas of your life once you start focusing on it. Alright, that was actually all that I wanted to say, you guys. I literally could make a list of so many more things, but I just wanted to, in honor of 2024, talk about 24 things, and you obviously don't need to start implementing these all at once. That's not sustainable and it's not realistic at all, but if certain things spoke to you, I really recommend to just do a bit more research about them and just start implementing them in your life, because I really do believe that these can help and benefit you so much, and I just want everyone to feel like their best version of themselves. So yeah, I wanted to thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that I'll see you guys next week in a new one.